Yeah, I'm not on the hours. Okay. Welcome back to the podcast with me and Ollie.
Hello.
Probably something based around me and Ollie will be the name, the Molly, the Greg and Ollie, something like that. We'll work it out. But today we have guest Nrky.
Wagwan.
Which is his producer name, his alias.
And that's all you're getting.
His identity. And he has come to us with some sparking hot facts and opinions. And other things. And Ollie, being a facts enthusiast, is going to join in with the facts.
Yeah, I'm quite interested about this one. I'm ready to learn.
We'll make very clear right now to anyone who's listening that we all have very differing opinions on these sorts of things. What would be the most basic way to say I'm left, but I'm not far left politically?
Yeah, I'd say me and Greg are quite opposite views. But
yeah, what are you though? Like, would you say?
Well, I used to be left, and then in the last 2 years now I'm right.
Far
apparently.
left.
Yeah,
it all
I'm not
switched
right.
around,
It's
didn't it?
switched
You know,
around.
it all switched around.
So what would you? I'm right-handed. Are you a lefty? No. Yeah. Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah. So Ollie's right,
Yeah,
and you're far right.
I wouldn't say that. I
Okay.
mean, I'm not a neo-Nazi.
Well, okay. Well, that's
And
So far left's Antifa, far right is neo-Nazi.
I am a strong believer and supporter of English heritage.
I'd say we're both in the middle of just,
Yeah, and
common
also
sense.
what liberal was once is not now. Is very sort of communism-based liberal style of fashion these days, isn't it? I was very liberal at one point. I believe peace on earth to all man.
Yeah.
You know, don't get me wrong. But yeah, you know, it's.
Let's start with that side of the spectrum. How do you feel about the left these days? Where do you see the left?
There's a number of things which attribute to the way the left are probably behaving. There's a lot of different sort of spectrums, if you will. I mean, that's what they would probably call it within the left and their group of people. But I believe that indoctrination through media, social media, news, and things of that sort of area are a lot to do with these sorts of things. You get a lot of these people which are looking at their phone a lot tend to be going down that route if they're obviously subject to the social media propaganda that's put out there. So I mean it really depends what trend is happening on social media at the time, which will decipher where people are going. But obviously there's a lot of trends, and then you've got a lot of people going down that route because of that.
Are you aware of the political compass?
Yeah,
As in
I believe
the
so.
economic left, economic right,
Yeah.
authoritarian and libertarian. Here's a picture. Here's a meme. I'll put the meme on screen for anyone. It's about the Australian surveillance laws, and then those are all the different people reacting to it. And obviously the guy on the bottom right is, I told you all they were going to put surveillance.
Yeah.
So where I am.
What I'm saying in regards to your question and this
left.
thing you're showing us here is we are all products of our own environment, obviously. So whatever environment we sort of tend to sway towards, we will be a product of. So if there's a certain person at school that's maybe not had the friendship groups that they desired, and they've gone down a slight path where they might be more inward, they would probably feel more accustomed to being grabbed up by these ideas, because they feel that they can probably and that's what these trends tend to they target these sorts of people, and then you get followings of certain sorts, and then you get different sort of groups making action in the streets and certain things.
Would you say it's taking advantage of certain people's mental illnesses?
Potentially, I believe the mental illness and the outcome of the trends, which I say, are kind of like in a closed loop. Once you're in it, you're sort of getting further into it.
But then if you say marketing's bad, then you're saying capitalism's bad, which means you're left wing.
Yeah, well, I'm sort of what you would call right wing in my views, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I actually believe in capitalism. Like personally, I believe that we all should slow down a little bit, but.
Technology or what? Social
well,
media?
in the sense that what we
overconsumption.
Yeah, consumption. Yeah, like I mean, it is devastating what we've done to the planet in terms of plastic and pollution into the actual natural environment. I mean, the CO2 emissions and things like that will come to on a different level, but it is pretty disgusting what we have done to the planet. But obviously, you've got. The people that make these decisions are the people that put these ideas and these actions into action, these plans into action. Okay. So, for instance, like I say, with the plastic pollution, you've got these companies that could have used various different products many years ago. Obviously, they could see an issue with the plastic building up. Why didn't they deal with it then? You know what I mean?
Well, so it does seem like a problem with capitalism, isn't it?
It is. Yeah,
it's producing too much.
It is. So you've got advertising and all of that, which goes down the route for people buying it in these situations. They then get indoctrinated, or their thought processes are not in the way of thinking that we need to save the planet. It's easier if I just buy this salad in a box, which is plastic.
Can you all say that we all buy stuff?
Agreed. Yeah. Agreed.
Just confirming that, so no one thinks that we're.
Yeah, but it's option of choice, isn't it? As well. I mean, you
choice of food getting in your mouth faster, isn't it?
I do feel like they push the blame a lot on ordinary consumers like us. Like, yeah, we do buy plastics, and they say
recycling. You mean?
Well, no, just we're saying we all buy stuff like plastics.
They're like, you need to recycle more, but it's actually the big companies.
Yeah, not just that. They talk about how like that whole big push for getting rid of plastic straws because it's killing the sea and that. But that only turns out to be 1.0. Well, what was it? 0.1% of the problem. In the plastic in the sea is from us. It's actually commercial fishing. I feel like lots of big companies put the blame on us. I think 100 companies is not to be held accountable for 70% of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So I do feel like they push all the blame onto the working middle class people.
I do believe that, and it's all stuff that we hear through news outlets mainly. If we didn't hear it through news outlets, then we wouldn't hear it. I'm talking about your morning TV as well and things like that. Like all through the day, you hear it in one way or another. But all
right. Enough of the hard brass tasks. I want to hear about the B-52s or whatever you said earlier.
What the
C-3POs?
The old chemos.
No, you said a number and some letters.
Agenda 21.
Yeah. As a word and some numbers.
Yeah, Agenda 21. Are you familiar with it?
You called it A21.
No, well, you could if you're abbreviating. Are you familiar with it, Ollie? Or?
Yes, I've heard of things, but I'd like to.
I'm going to
be educated.
Explain it. Give me a little basic explanation.
Agenda 21 is a non-binding action plan of the United Nations with regard to sustainable development. It is a product of the Earth Summit held in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil in 1992. However, although it sounds wonderful on the face of it, there are hidden agendas within this agenda which obviously would put us in a particular sort of digital enslavement by 2050, all living within smart cities which we are all living in. And what I mean,
I feel like a lot of people would not think this is a bad thing.
This is obviously going to have opposing views from a lot of people. And there's
like the tubes from Futurama and like modern everything with big tall white buildings and everything's like hype.
Yeah, you imagine that, but I mean,
I'm very much surveillance is protecting me in a way.
Yeah,
but you're very much like surveillance is bad.
You should be able to have your own privacy if
I
you're
don't
not doing
idea.
anything wrong. You shouldn't have to prove that you're doing nothing wrong if you're doing nothing
out
wrong.
and about,
Yeah,
I mean.
fair enough. In cities, there's a lot that goes on. You know, you get a lot of bad, dark areas of cities, which a lot of dark stuff happens. It's more so than the suburbs.
Agenda 21. What is the?
So right, there's a number of things obviously which go with Agenda 21. So they want 0 carbon emissions by 2030.
Right.
But I'm going to say 2050 to be on the safe side, because I know Agenda 2050 is another thing to talk about, but I'll talk about that another time.
Okay.
That's basically
cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger. But in a sense, Agenda 21 leading up to 2050 is urbanisation and rewilding. Now, obviously, that sounds good, but that means they would be moving every single human person into small, smart cities. So there would be no villages, no towns. There wouldn't be anything in between apart from...
No farms?
Well, no farms. They would all be GMO crops, which are made in factories, using genetically modified organisms, which they're already doing. They stick that on our oranges and our bananas with a certain number, if you want to look into
not the organic ones, though.
Well, if it says organic, they've got they can actually...
Or they've
actually got a very large window of what they can say organic is, so... As even certain pesticides get away with them being able to say it's organic still. So, but that's again another thing. But yeah, rewilding is good obviously for the wild. A lot of nature would flourish.
Oh, as in making areas where people living in rural towns now just full of animals and wild.
No, there would be no
humans to like.
So all the humans would be stuck in city blocks, basically smart cities with all this sort of stuff.
And all the towns they were in would become wild by
rewilding, which obviously
cool.
it does. It sounds good on the face of it, but it sounds good on the face of it. But we're all led to believe that living in smart cities with constant frequencies and radiation from all of the different 5G and all of those
Japan
sorts of things.
Is a pretty good example of what you're imagining.
Well,
like something a statistic about like a huge percentage of the place living in cities and stuff, because obviously it's thin.
Yeah, it's a big like mountain, thin mountain range.
So they're all just living in cities, and some of them live in tiny little things.
Yeah,
I feel like
I don't know.
They're just making us completely reliable on
the system. Yeah, on the.
We are anyway.
Government. We're not really. I mean, you have the option to grow food if you wanted to. This is the thing. If you split out the people within England over the amount of area that we've got, and taught them how to grow their own vegetables and be sustainable and live like half off grid, then you're doing more for the planet than basically making all of these areas that are smart and radiated and all this sort of thing. People being amongst each other under a sweaty environment is not going to be good for people.
Let me play a little scenario, because I actually was reading something about in the news the other day that in America, loads of people renting in blocks of houses and flats. They've just got new security systems that's all automated and can lock themselves in for their own protection if need be. So say there's another pandemic and you won't have the option to leave your house because they'll just shut the building down automatically. Do you reckon that'd be good for humanity to have that choice? Do you reckon it'd be for their own protection, or do you reckon it'd be a scenario where they can
so they would have control over the building, the council of their area would.
And this is another thing as well.
I mean, if the council knew, I don't know. Depends on the situation. So
that's what I'm saying. They seem to be taking more and more accountability and freedom away from us.
Jumping to the extreme thing that they're going to do with technology is maybe a jump from just the fear of technology. I fear it in a way, but it can't be like the first thing you think to stop bad things from happening to people is actually a government trying to lock them in a big building and
I think if there's a 1% chance...
Well, they don't benefit from it.
No, but that's kind of what I'm saying for the pandemic scenario. There's been a lot of pushback from the lockdowns, but if they had the button, I think a lot of people who are up for lockdowns would go along with it and be like, yes, the government should have a button where they can just lock us in the house for our own safety. But there'll be a lot of people who'd be like, wait, this is abuse of power.
Oh yeah, it is abuse of power, but it's necessary, isn't it? But if there was something happening, imagine if there was a button they could press that stopped your house from being blown over from a hurricane. But you can decide it.
That's slightly different.
Yeah,
that's slightly different.
Yeah, but I'm saying
that's
that,
like complete lockdown with a shield and like
that's
laser
like,
guns and shit. Do you know what I mean? We want that, don't we?
Like, cheers, Joe. I mean, not Joe.
But no, if there's a 1% chance that the government could lock us down in our own homes and not actually release us again, like then there's no chance like that it would ever sit right with me, that opportunity. Plus, within the Agenda 21, leading up to 2030 and 2050, they want to obviously make everyone digital and have a digital identity, and they want everyone's medical records to be with that digital identity, amongst work records, social credit score, all of that shit. It's already being discussed within the government.
It seems like it's like a future thing, though.
It is a future thing,
it's like combining your accounts into one.
It's fair enough if you want transhumanism, where you become half robot, cyborg, live forever, upload all of your.
Talking.
Yeah, exactly. But it's all well and good, like watching Futurama and other little things like that. But that's not what humans are they? Like if you look back historically on where we come from, things like that, it's all a bit shady. But what we do know is that we do resonate at a frequency, and we feel our environment around us. Some people don't feel it at all. Some people are fully like locked into the system where they've got no idea. But some people are a bit more free, and they have a feeling and a relationship with Mother Earth, like, and Mother Nature. Do you know what I mean?
Besides that, upbringing or.
Possibly, yeah, and like I say, like product of your environment, isn't it? So.
Your mum's not a hippie-ish. Your mum's not.
Well,
Ethan's mum's very hippie.
Free thinking. She regrets getting the vaccine.
But imagine this.
Your mum got it and regrets.
Imagine this situation, if you will. You've got your ID pass on your phone. You're fully up to date in all of your medical records. Everything's sweet. You know, your boss is about to pay you because you've just done a full week's work. You're walking up to your house where it's like a complex at this point. You're all living in like 500,000 flat complexes or whatever it may be. I mean, obviously, I'm thinking a little bit ahead of the curve in that. Well, maybe not ahead of the curve. That's innovational, isn't it, to think like that? But anyway, you go up to your flat or your building complex and you pull your app out, and someone walked past you on the way back from work and they didn't like your trainers because they're offensive in some respects, so they marked you down by 10 points or something, and you didn't even know about this because you're happy, you're about to be paid, you're walking home for the week.
Based off like trainers, you can't just write, I don't like their trainers.
Well, of course, it's a social credit scoring system, so they can mark you down on whatever they want in this situation.
I'm thinking like more for like rapists and like
paedophiles. If they have a tracking app for paedophiles and rapists, then please let me know.
Very many of them.
Yeah.
Not a tracking app.
But
you know what I mean? They should have that.
What you say is not so far-fetched, because they already have that in place in China, and they do it on things like your political ideologies.
I can never really base China on a place to base anywhere else in the world.
You know that's coming here China, everywhere in the world, though, don't you?
Yeah, but China's
brought a lot of industry.
Yeah, Australia are on their way there.
But only if China takes over the world.
New Zealand are on their way there.
Think of like who Australians, Americans, and English people are. Like, we're not just going to be like,
Australians seem to be.
We're not going to be like, yeah, it's fine.
They're already calling it a new world order in the news reports. Like, what's their name? That Gladys or whatever? No, it weren't Gladys. It was the other one, the health one or something.
Yeah, I saw that.
The Prime Minister, sorry, she was.
Snicky.
Yeah, anyway. So what else is on the agenda?
Oh wait, I want to see what this agenda's about.
I was going to give you a question. Do you reckon there's quite, because you were talking about Futurama, do you reckon there's a lot of foreshadowing in like sci-fi films? About maybe that's why you see the way the future's going as good, because we've been watching sci-fi films for the last 20 years.
Well, I look for that. Elysium, eat my heart.
Yeah, but the same way as what are you saying?
Do you reckon they've cleverly?
No. It's like saying every nerd who likes cool sci-fi stuff is part of.
No, I'm saying it's a part of anything. But I'm saying, is it like clever little manipulation where they show you a good future where it's good to be like Minority Report? They have to check in, or that you can get arrested before you even commit the crime.
If sci-fi was the only thing on TV, then yeah, but it's not.
Well, that's an illusion of choice, though, isn't it?
But.
To give you all these things.
But I don't like sci-fi. I like.
No, but I'm just saying.
Like Rick and
do you reckon you've got a good? Do you reckon you've got a good, image of it in your head? What Sam's talking about.
Oh yeah, but they
because
show the
of all
bad
the
side of
sci-fi.
it, though. They do
Yeah.
sci-fi, don't they?
Yeah.
They always show like the regimes of like evil alien races, and they could be humans. They just got like weird eyebrows and stuff.
Yeah.
So like they never. It's not like every sci-fi episode. It's like,
No, but I mean, like,
how cool is it?
no, but I mean, like the simple things, like
Demons.
everything's on like a scanner, like they just scan your eyeballs with your hand.
But that's
Do you reckon
almost
that's just
coming true, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. Do you
But
reckon they've been
that's
putting
just
in that
predicting
tonight?
it, though, isn't it? Because like
Yeah.
on The Simpsons, it's just like saying, "Oh, Matt Groening's a time traveller," but really, there's a
Yeah.
whole bunch of people who animated that and did stuff on that. So it's like they're all, unless they're all time travellers,
Well, maybe.
everybody went off.
No, I don't think they're time travellers. I just think they write it down and it's ready to go. Like it was sometime in the 70s that people started deciding that they wanted a one world order. Like, I mean, it's probably been thought about by many people over the years, but this is a group of corporations and like giants coming together, like to put stuff together at the minute. It's not like single takeover by an emperor or whatever. What else is there on the Agenda 21 I wanted to talk about? Do you familiar with a guy called Klaus Schwab?
World Economic Forum.
Yeah, the World Economic Forum. Have a look at that if you have the opportunity.
He's the one who says
But
that.
he's called.
Own nothing.
Yeah, that's it. You will own nothing, be happy. And basically, in this world that they think up at the World Economic Forum, like that we're all going to live in, they've got like, you won't have a microwave or a washing machine or anything like that. You'll rent anything that you want. It will fly down on drone. You'll use it. It'll take it back off, and then. And yeah, you don't have any like physical money or anything like that. It's just all digital. We've obviously just touched on that, but
I know people like to think we live in a democracy, but let's be honest and let's be real. Our world and our reality is shaped upon a few billionaires and the rich class and how they want to see the world. They've got something that can invest in the world. Like look at Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, he created Facebook. He probably didn't know the impact it would have, but he's completely reshaped the world and how we live.
It's quite funny. It used to be all like royalty, like not hugely long ago, and now it's all like. Well, was it money before with certain?
he's a world leader, isn't he?
Yeah, but like
in a sense.
say like 1800s, like the big boys were like kings and.
Yeah, that's
shit
what
like
I'm
that.
saying.
But
like,
they had. They must have been people like millionaires, not one millionaire. How much was money inflation?
I know what you mean. There's an
£20
elite class. There's always
billionaires.
been a ruling class, the bourgeoisie and all that.
they were still millionaires.
But I'm
back
saying
then,
at that
though.
point,
that's the weird thing.
Without with royalty being there, it sort of almost culled people with lots of money from going above, like and beyond. So that because royalty was never like smart or anything. Like they just were. They just had kids.
Well, I think
now respect this child. Respect this child.
I think royalty has a lot to
Tourism now, isn't it?
No, it's more than that. You delve into it, and you find a lot more information about certain.
I've been to people's houses and they
peoples.
have plates and like everything of every royalty all over every year, all over the house, all over the walls. It's mental.
Do you think there should be a wealth cap? Do you reckon there should be
wealth cap?
billionaires?
Nah.
I think not wealth cap, but I think there should be like forced environmental help based off their income, based off
Not philanthropy at open. Oh, sorry, was it inverted commas?
what?
Philanthropy.
Like
Yeah.
how Bill Gates uses an excuse to make fuck tons of money.
Well, it's just like
I'm helping. Now I'm a billionaire.
Yeah, I mean, but
And admitting at the same time that vaccines are a 20-to-1 investment.
I mean, well, they are though.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be doing that for. He made this thing called Gavi. I can't remember what the abbreviation means. It's
Gavin.
Global Alliance Vaccines, something. I think. And they just basically go around to poor countries, giving them vaccines like off their own backs, like saying we're helping you, and making shit worse. Like,
Well, they did the same with GMO as well, didn't they? They ruined their crops.
yeah, ruin the crops and all that. Like, people like that need putting down, in my opinion.
The problem with all institutions is, if it's run by humans, there's going to be corruption.
Yeah.
That's how do you solve that? How do you solve corruption? That's just it's trying to solve human behaviour, isn't it?
Yeah.
It says power is going to be abused, and that's why people wonder there's so much distrust when like a government's asking you repeatedly to take like a vaccine or anything. If there's censorship around something and it's coming from an authority figure, people just don't trust it because it has been abuse and those powers.
And they keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, and it makes people crack, and then they have to hide away again and try it another time. But at the minute, what they, I mean, what's it? I can't remember what they're called. The guide stones. They say
500,000.
500 million it is. Yeah, it needs to be 500 million to be sustainable, the population on this planet. So most of the people at the top in these elite positions are of Freemason background, so they attend Freemason, meetings and all this sort of stuff. And obviously up the top end of the Freemasonry scale, I think the 33rd degree Masons, they're like apparently obviously the world leaders, so they have sort of apparent satanic rituals, and when it comes to depopulation, they tie it in with the satanical side. So whilst they say obviously we need to keep the population of the planet down for sustainability, they're also, what's it called, doing a sacrifice to the people on the planet. Did you know that I think last year, 2020, there was 42 million abortions on the planet?
Really?
And that's I mean,
what's that tying in with?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you've got companies like Planned Parenthood in America, and I don't know if you know anything about them. And you'll have
Bill Gates' father.
You'll have to check. Yeah, you'll have to check the figures I say on this, because they might not be completely aligned with what they actually are. But I'm pretty sure what I heard was 80% of the people that go into Planned Parenthood have an abortion.
Yeah.
And obviously the rules in America with what is deemed as an abortion of like a non-conscious baby is right up to birth now, and even born. Like they can call that an abortion straight after birth, and like that is just fucking disgusting, mate. Like
again, it comes into
these are those sorts of people that I'm talking about. Like, they invest in these companies or even own them, and these are the sorts of people that are trying to save the world by giving everyone these vaccines, but also admitting that the world needs depopulating by so much, like 80%. Like it just doesn't tie up right, does it? And
it's like following the money. Bill Gates, because I don't know if people know this, but baby fetuses are used in medicine. They've been used in vaccines,
and they've been used in the current
ones.
And
if your father has created Planned Parenthood, and now you've got money in a corporation that dishes out vaccinations, is there not like a conflict of interest if you're coercing all these people to have abortions and then using fetuses on the market for medicine and vaccinations? Surely.
Yeah, and what will happen is he will then be one of the highest investors of the company that regulates them, and then obviously he sways the decision in that respect as well. And that's why billionaires shouldn't exist, because they have too much political lobbyist power.
Yeah, do you see that about Fauci? Isn't it the head of the FDA is like his wife?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And one of the old FDA approval experts is now the CEO of Pfizer or something.
I have to check this.
They're all in the same bed.
One of the CEO of Pfizer's is one of the heads of the fact checking companies. So
it's meant to.
It all ties in.
I've got a message on my phone about who owns who and what. I don't know if I'll be able to find it.
All right.
Can I just say this?
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Say something, because I've got to find it quick.
Oh, I've got a lot. I've got a fun game. Oh
yeah, I've got it.
Okay,
you ready? GlaxoSmithKline is managed by the finance division of BlackRock. GlaxoSmithKline owns Pfizer and also owns the Chinese lab in Wuhan. The Wuhan lab was funded by Dr. Fauci. The money trail leads to BlackRock, which manages the Open Foundation group, the Soros Foundation. Soros is connected to the Wuhan lab, which manages the French AXA group. Soros owns the Germany company Winterthur, which built the Wuhan lab and was bought by the German company Alliance, which Vanguard is a major shareholder. Vanguard is in control of central banks and holds a third of investment capital. BlackRock is a major shareholder of Bill Gates' company Microsoft. Bill Gates is a major shareholder of biotech and Pfizer, and who sponsors the World Health Organization. That's and it goes on, but
as I said, it's a big club and we're not in it.
Yeah, it's a big club.
All right, well,
can I talk about what I wanted to talk about?
No, I'm going to quick game. Quick break it up a bit.
All right,
fun
sweet.
Game, right? Ready? Fun game of do you believe the conspiracy? Alright, okay.
Can I just eat this Kit Kat?
Okay, have a little nod. Eat it! Alright, just give me a... Actually, no, I need you to speak. You just tell me yes...
my plan as well.
Yeah, both of you. If you believe in this one. I don't need any more than yes or no. Maybe a quick sentence. Alright, number 1. Big Pharma. As in big pharmaceutical companies.
Go on.
Yes,
that's it.
In a way, I do.
You believe in that one?
I feel
You're not a big pharma, isn't you?
Well, yeah, what are you saying about them though? Are they a conspiracy or are they up to no good?
It's
It's a bit broad question.
It's like an idea.
I don't think it's a theory. They definitely are up to no good. Have you not seen the lawsuits that Pfizer have had?
I'm sure. I'm not talking about Pfizer. I'm talking about pharmaceutical companies. This is before COVID.
They are a pharmaceutical company. I
know, but this is an old conspiracy.
Pfizer produced the fucking hard-on tablet. What's it called? Viagra.
Yeah, I don't care.
No, talking about the lawsuits before COVID. They've got fucking thousands.
Yeah, you believe in it.
And they're billions. That's true. They are.
So I'll say you do then.
They are a dark company.
Satanic cults.
My dad also worked for them, and he told me various things about them.
Satanic cults, like the internet celebrity ones.
Oh,
go on, say again.
Like internet celebrity.
Well, that Roma, what's it? The soul cooking and all that.
Like,
100%.
Basically like celebrities being in cults and eating
100%.
babies and stuff.
Tom Cruise was in an out-and-out cult. It wasn't quite the same cult, but
Scientology.
Yeah, I mean, is that?
They've got the Skull and Bones, the
Bohemian
Grove. They do weird shit there.
You say yes?
Skull and Bones. That's George Bush's.
I don't know what this one is. The Elders of Zion.
Oh, is that about the Jewish?
I can have a look.
Elders of Zion. Is it Zion about?
Well,
Judaism.
Judaism is supposed to be like Satanism in not Judaism, like normal Judaism.
Oh, protocols.
But what's it called? The Talmud. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's like an old scripture, I think, that they used to read within the. But it's. Have a look at it. I can't really repeat it on the thing.
Okay, basically, Protocols of the Elders of Zion. Got the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion is a hoaxed book that purported to reveal a Jewish conspiracy to achieve world domination. It first appeared in Russia in 1905 and described how Christians' morality, finances, and health would be targeted by a small group of powerful Jews. The idea that there is a Jewish conspiracy is nothing new, of course, and has been repeated by many prominent... Oh, it keeps moving. It's just shoved an advert.
I don't know
I know quite a few Jewish people, and they're peaceful people, and I know that a lot of religions have their darker areas. Like, for instance, the Vatican, that's been like running things all over the shop for many centuries. If you want to look into it, that's another story for another day. But obviously, religions have their darker areas, and I believe that one area of Judaism was hijacked.
Oh, I'm putting yes.
It's like every institute, any institute run by humans can be hijacked.
That's what I'm saying.
The Roswell crash cover-up. That is,
I believe.
Interesting.
Something crashed on a motorway outside of Roswell, New Mexico, 1947.
I've watched a few documentaries about this, and the police officer who was first to the scene says that what they showed on the news and what the investigators showed was like just a smashed weather balloon. And when he went to the crash, he actually said that was a fucking spaceship, and there was a massive little cover-up. So he was there. He was the first to the scene.
So surely he would have been outed though. That's what I believe. Like
homosexual.
No, outed. Yeah.
So you go no.
Outed as a translucent. No, I'm not saying that. I believe there is another race.
Not the question.
Human race. What I think is anything shown on TV to that extent is just propaganda.
I'll just put no to that one.
Like, it could just be any guy.
The Kennedy assassination. Do you think that was a fucking naughty?
It was the Clintons, wasn't it?
John F. Kennedy assassination.
Well, was that whole speech that he gave before, like a month before it happened? He was talking about outing these secret societies that control the world, and then a month later,
bosh, and then his brother died as well, didn't he?
Yeah,
I made a song with that speech.
Did you?
Called Secret Societies.
Check it out.
Where can I don't think I released it.
Yeah.
Well, we released it.
Yeah. Again, I feel like this all ties in. The secret cults, Big Pharma, they're all the same people.
Paul McCartney's death.
This is an interesting one. No, I was in the whole of the Beatles. Apparently, after 1961, they had their last gig in America or something, and it wasn't televised, and apparently all the Beatles were killed by the CIA and replaced by Stooges because they were talking about how they're bigger than Jesus and how the impact they had on the crowd and people. They're talking about peace and love, and they're like, we can't be having that. That's the conspiracy.
I think that's possible because they on one of their album covers they've got them standing there with babies and stuff, which are all like hot in pieces and stuff like that, and like. They like if you're part of satanic rituals and all that, those groups, then they like to put it out there, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know. There's also.
So you're both going yes on that.
Well,
one?
no, I don't know because let's get this deep dive.
Celebrities, I think, like are. I mean, it's difficult, but a lot of them are funded or controlled by sort of bigger people.
I think
the ones that we see on the TV and the radio anyway.
I think it'd be very fucking hard for them to find 4 quite similar looking people who are that talented at music as well to carry on in their space.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But one of their wives, I think it might be Paul McCartney, did come out and said, I know a dark secret about him. He's not the person we love or something. And she had to get loads of hush money. But again, that's
that might be.
I always say no. I'm not ignoring enough about it.
I'm not sure about that either.
Yeah, okay, 2 no's for that
but I would say I do believe that they were part of satanic clubs.
Okay, that's not what I asked.
Well, I'm just putting it out there.
Okay, good. I'll write that down. Okay, it's a classic one: the moon landing hoax. As in, they faked the moon landing.
Tricky one. Because like you see all these documentaries, don't you, and then you see a lot of YouTube like things, and they do make some very valid points.
I wouldn't say they faked it, but I do know that NASA deleted like 60 reels of footage from what happened, so there might have been a bigger conspiracy that was something.
I saw something, a video about this, like it was a video released way later of them going onto the moon, and it was just the main guy just swearing, like he's just going, fuck, yeah, and you can hear it like, fuck, because he's just walking onto a...
Imagine it was a big old alien.
So like that's apparently why they didn't release much of or any of the audio or anything, because he was just saying.
Oh, they definitely had the technology to do it. I think.
Or someone maybe died or something.
How do you think? Why do you think that we had the technology and the money to go to space in the 60s, but we just haven't bothered really going back?
Well, that's another thing, because there's like what's it called, a belt, radiation belt above or around the planet or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. I'm gonna have to come back to you on it.
All right. Well, leave it at that.
Yeah. but they just say nothing can fly through it and nothing ever will. Like.
The moon.
Well, this particular radiation belt, like, there's no way that anything can get through.
Alright, so the moon, you're both going a big no. Not sure.
Well, no,
but you have to be confidently yes.
Oh yeah, I feel like we did go there, but I feel like
there's something's different.
Subliminal adverts.
Oh, that's
definitely. I've got the patent for it on my phone. I think
that's how advertising works.
Quick tick. Princess Diana being killed.
She did. Well, again,
she died.
Supposedly, she was supposed to say they're going to kill me. Well,
I think.
I don't know how true that letter.
I actually believe.
I think she was murked, mate. That she was outed.
But for why?
Offed.
Why do you reckon?
But for why?
Because she
was dating a Muslim bloke.
Was she?
Yeah, something. She was flirting with some Muslim.
She was bearing his child.
They're like, we are. No, that's what I know.
Was it?
Yeah, no. She was flirting with
Muhammad Al Fayed.
Apparently, she was very friendly with like those kind of people. Not those kind of people, but you know, like anyone. She was just friendly with them ones. She was basically just friendly with anyone and everyone, which obviously looks bad to the old.
Yeah, I do feel like they have the power to get...
If she got on with a Muslim man, like, as her print, like, I think people, not me, but people would be kicking off, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Like, people kicked off bad enough with, what's her name, Megan?
Well,
If
you watch the Diana, there's a documentary about Diana. There's quite a localised Diana documentary. If you watch that, it explains how she was treated. She was always the third person within their relationship, apparently.
So he was in love with that. His new one.
What's it? They killed her?
Horrible looking thing. Yes. I reckon they drove right into her.
Drove right. Ollie?
I don't care enough about this one. I was too young to know.
Here's the classic then. 9/11.
Oh, I do believe that one.
Jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams.
On 9/11, like. There was on the anniversary. There were people who were there at the bottom of the tower recording, and they're like, "There's an explosion. That's not a fucking plane."
Boom, 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 boom.
And then also that building 7.
Yeah, 7. Yeah.
Yeah, And
the Pentagon. That was a missile, not a plane.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there would be plane inside that building, which there wasn't any plane inside the building.
And did you see that painting Epstein had in his house with George Bush on the floor with
a
paper airplane, Jenga blocks? So there were 2 towers of Jenga blocks. He knew something. Definitely.
So, and that was it. The guy, I can't remember his name. Bloomfeld. No, it wasn't that. It might have been. Anyway, he announced the day before that 1.7 trillion was missing, or something like that. 1.3 trillion.
And they've planned to do this before. They did try to do this with Cuba back in the day. They wanted an excuse to go to war with Cuba, and they tried to do a false flag operation. I forgot what town it was for, but on their own citizens. It's not past the, it's not beyond them to do these things.
Okay. Actually, I might have my own one.
Yeah, come on.
Michelle Obama is a man.
Yes. I've seen the balls. No. I don't know.
She has got dangly. She's got a dangly something down there.
Okay, so you're saying not a man. She's got to say I like the progress.
She's got a dangly something. I don't know whether it's a man or not. Whether you can call it a man
Maybe
or
she's
not.
got
What's this one? Is this
that's a conspiracy.
Is it?
Yeah, loads of.
Why do they believe?
He doesn't anymore.
There's loads of videos of something flapping around in her pants, and
Maybe
also
she's got a big old clit.
No, but there's the Obama when he's younger has been pictured with a geezer called Michael.
Oh. No, that's Photoshop. That's been
not.
Photoshop. I can show you the original one of that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Well, there's about 10 of them.
Yeah, well, they've been all photoshopped.
Well, you've ruined it for me now.
I'll let you think she's a man.
No, to be fair, she's got massive hands and an Adam's apple and big things swinging around in her pants when she runs. So, not that's my thing.
Well, you reckon she kept the dick?
Yeah, I reckon Obama likes to take it up the what's it called?
The old
Bananarama.
The old rectum.
Oh yeah, and
why are you gay?
Flat Earth as well is another one.
Nah, I'm not really a massive one on that. I mean, I like the idea of it.
Yeah,
it sounds like we were given a God-given paradise to live on, like in that situation, which is quite a nice idea after all, because it gives you a little bit of hope in these times.
Nrky wins for 7 to Olly's paltry 6.
Hey.
Well done.
Hey.
So all of this is quite doom and gloom, really, isn't it? So
yeah, let's pick it up.
So I think
it's about what the situation.
Yeah. So if all of this shit goes down and like they start trying to like put us all in 4x6 cells because we haven't like kept up with our medical agreements that they've mandated or whatever, and armies get put out there and all these sorts of things, and people start getting killed in the streets, or people even start dying from the jabberoos or whatever. I'm not talking about that anyway. You two both know my views on that, but I think that's quite a low frequency thing to talk about at this point.
Given the vaccines.
Yeah. So anyway, if everything does go shit, it's the fan, and people start dying in the street, and then you've got people running around trying to, get themselves ready, then I feel that you need to be prepared for these sorts of situations.
Oh, the survival stuff.
Yeah, so I look at it as three different ways, really. You've got survival, like you said there. If you're doing it for fun, you could call it bushcraft.
Nice. Minecraft.
And also, if you're not really up for a bit of bushcraft, but you just want to camp amongst the wild, you call it wild camping, wouldn't you, I suppose?
Camping.
Yeah, so
wild camp.
So on a positive note, at the end of that, wild camping could be, what's nice, and then you could get out to a little bit bushcraft while you're out.
Got any tips?
So, tips-wise, I would say there is no wrong and right with wild camping. However, no morals.
You just fall off a cliff. What?
Don't forget it.
No, morals is something that you should definitely try and look after the surroundings. You don't leave a fire like burning away before you leave. All those common sensible sorts of things. Try not to dig too many roots up, because they are actually part of a massive network which keep the trees and the other plants all in connection with each other, so that they can discuss who needs more nutrients, because they do talk like that amongst each other. That, if one tree's feeling bad, the other trees will group together and
beat you up,
suck out a bit of nutrients and chuck it along the root network to the other tree, so the other one can get better. So yeah, take that in mind when you're out doing a bit of bushcraft or whatever, because you've got to make sure that you're looking after the nature whilst also having fun. Foremost.
If I hug a tree, does it make the tree grow better? Because I've like given it.
No, but it might make you grow better, peacefully, inside. But yeah, so
no, like how if you breathe on a plant,
I'll just give you a list of things that.
If you talk to plants, they grow better. Is that true?
Yeah, there's a Japanese scientist that has
studied. So if you hug a tree,
you're breathing your carbon dioxide on them, aren't you?
It goes back to vibrations and frequencies.
What if I did this to the tree?
Yeah, rub it harder, faster.
Rude.
Yeah. He's getting wood here.
So yeah, just make sure you're nice to it. Yeah, they've had them side by side, haven't they? One shouts negative words at one, and then one shouts positive at the other.
Yeah,
and then they see after a couple of weeks, and it decides whether or not you're.
They did the same to a bowl of rice.
I need the top 5. Some guy's like stupid out of space. He's dumb, but he can do anything. What are the top 5 survival things you say to him to do? And if you want to include an object or something, that's one of them. You can't be like...
Someone's come up to you, pissed out their face.
No, not pissed. They're just like,
they're stuck. They don't know where to start.
Like default NPC character.
They don't know where to start. Well, okay.
But they can get any of this.
You've said 5 things. You're going to need a bit more than that for a survival situation, I'd say. Although if you got yourself...
Give me your top 5 for half a day.
If you... Basically, your tools have got to really double up if you're going to be going down that route with 5 different things. So I'd say you get a Swiss Army knife first.
Okay, Swiss.
You could get quite a big one with lots of different things on it. It might have a little LED torch on it, but bear in mind the battery won't last long.
Okay.
You'll have a knife, you'll have a knife, a corkscrew,
that'd be on the Swiss Army knife.
A file, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, good.
We got
that.
What else? I would say get yourself a Bergen or a bag of some description.
What's a Bergen?
It's an army military bag. The one I've got is 100 litres, so you can fit it. Well, it's got 100 litres worth of space in it.
Okay.
I carry about just under 40 kilos in there.
That's pretty.
And it's quite a lot what I do, really. But I like to try and just get used to it being on my back. I haven't done it for a few weeks. So be honest.
You need a bow and quiver.
I need a mate, really. But in those sorts of times, obviously, if it is survival, then you're gonna take as much as you can. But if you haven't got it available, you're gonna get the hell out of there, aren't you? So maybe have it ready to go, your Bergen. But in your Bergen, in your army military bag, which is obviously quite durable and waterproof most of the time. You can get them quite cheap off eBay. I think mine was 60 quid. So I would have a mess kit in there.
Mess?
I mean, 5 is going to be difficult for me to cover without thinking about it, to be honest.
You've only got 2 left. Mess kit? What's that like?
A tent.
What's that? A tent? Yeah. And...
Well, if you've got a mess kit, you need some food, don't you?
Yeah, but can't you use all this stuff to get the food?
No.
You get the army knife.
You could slit a boar's throat. If you could find one. The Swiss Army knife, you could fashion yourself a what do you call it? You could make yourself a slingshot, but you need to find something rubbery or elastic.
Pull out the knife, put it on a big old stick, a spear.
What the?
You could do that. But I was thinking about catching rabbits. You could make a snare for yourself with using the Swiss Army knife by using some quite flimsy.
So we've got a Swiss Army knife, a Bergen, a mess kit.
I'm going to tell you what I've got in my equipment, and then it's up to you whether you want to take that on board with your survival kit yourself.
Okay.
Fair?
Yeah. I'm writing it.
So Bergen.
Yep.
Army style.
Okay.
40 kilos max.
Yeah.
Look for 100 litres and less. Anything more you're going to struggle with.
Although are they all waterproof?
Although my Berg, I might have to waterproof it. You can use any sort of wax or spray. Some of them nanoparticle sprays are good, but obviously they're quite expensive. So if you're spending that much in a bag, you may want to spend that much on some waterproofing, or ask the person you got it from whether it's waterproofed or not. That's that. I have also got a map. Ordnance surveys are good for raids.
Map?
Yeah. You don't really want to be taking your iPhone with you on a survival mission, especially if you're being hunted down by electronics, drones, police, all that sort of stuff. They've got far much more technology than you have. You need to get yourself away from technology so they can't get hold of you. That's survival anyway, if you're on the run. So map ordnance surveys are good because that shows you where water and raised areas are, I believe. A compass is good. You can just get that part of your Swiss Army knife probably if you're lucky. I've got a fold-out saw within mine, a Barco one, which is
saw,
yeah, and that cuts both ways, so forward and backwards motion to make the job easier. It's only a handheld, but it's bloody sharp. You don't want to catch yourself with that. Said a mess kit, but you want cooking pans and utensils, maybe a water heating pan. I've got a laser pen. Don't know whether that's going to be.
What's that going to do?
I don't know yet. I just really like laser pens.
Yeah. Are they proper illegal?
No, not really. If you fire them at aircraft and helicopters and things like that, I think you can get in trouble. But what you do with your laser pen is not my business. You can also search for people in the dark quite well with laser pens. They go for miles, so you can pinpoint your location quite easily with one of them.
Can you use it for SOS signals, help?
Probably, yeah, if you know your Morse code. I've got a magnesium firelighter, and throwaway lighters are good to have.
So also those are flint and steel, is that the same thing?
That's the same thing, yeah. You scrape it into the... You have to make yourself a little pile of fluff and stuff to burn.
Tinder.
Tinder, that's the one. I've got a tarp. You don't have to have a tent as well, but I do carry both. A tarpaulin being something you can fashion into a tent or some sort of cover. You can also use it to put a bit of water in to carry, and also you can mix certain natural building items in your tarp. I'll come on to that. I have got myself some expensive walking boots because you don't want trench foot when you're walking.
Alright,
you want support.
Let me give you a quick question. In the future, if everything's gone tits up galore, you're starving, you're hungry, you got your bow and quiver, and you're so hungry that you're like, oh, I'm fucking gonna die. But you can see a fat looking dog.
It depends. It depends what part of society we've broken down to.
You're like
if everyone's in that position and we're out here for ourselves,
you're out solo.
It wouldn't bother me what I eat. I wouldn't probably.
Yeah, but even out humans.
Well, a lot.
Human zombies are everywhere.
I think 1/3 of people will consider cannibalism in these times. So
that's not cannibalism, is it? Eating a dog.
No. I'm talking about cannibalism.
This is a zombie situation, so you can't.
So what you're talking about is a zombie situation.
Yeah.
And the dog is not a zombie yet.
Dog's like.
I'd eat it. Yeah, I'd probably eat it. If it had meat on it, I'd probably eat it.
Though.
Yeah, so you're the dog in those situations.
Yeah, it's a different story. It's
like he wouldn't attack you.
When I'm at work, when I was at work today, putting the render off the wall, there were spiders crawling out, and I wait for the spiders to crawl out and disappear before I carry on because I don't want to squash them. But in those situations, it's a different sort of scenario. Your morals and your outlook has to change in order for survival.
Yeah, would you rather die?
At the minute, I'm getting paid, and I can go to the shop and I can buy myself my lunch. Like,
I'd be in
those situations,
regardless of the apocalypse. I'm like, that dog looks fat.
Raincoat.
Malaysian.
Raincoat and expensive walking boots. Both are Gore-Tex, so they're breathable and very waterproof.
Gore-Tex.
Yeah.
All these words you're making up. I've got Bergen, Gore-Tex.
Arctic military sleeping bag. Mine goes down to -5, and I went for a large one, so I've got more room in it.
But get a warmer one.
It is quite heavy.
Why would you want to be that cold?
I only went for polyester as well, because if down gets wet, then it's fucking well heavy, which is feathers.
Yeah, down gets up.
A sleeping mat. That is also optional. Should you want
sleeping.
to? I can't sleep very well, so I have to have the required sleeping aid, which is a sleeping mat.
So what you're saying to all of this is you want to go camping. Pretty bad right now.
They're all camouflage as well. Clothing, and that. Obviously, you've got to get out of the way, haven't you? Yeah. You got to remember, this is also slightly a nerdy thing.
You're choosing your own scenario, though.
But really. Also getting if we want to go down that route, then
what scenario would this be suitable for? Just like as in,
Well, I'm talking about survival here. Like,
Survival as in
I get my
you're
bag,
lost.
and I get the hell out of it, sort of thing. I'm going across hill and through forest and
how about
to
in
get
a,
away
like,
from any.
How about like in a and like just where the only things against you are surviving against animals and nature, rather than the government or zombies.
Survive in nature.
Yeah, or this be overkill.
Well, you don't have to.
Just say you're gonna survive
if you're running
4 weeks.
If you're walking through a forest and like a bear comes out at you, you probably drop your bag and pull out your knife, or pull out your your crossbow or something like, or get eaten.
Yeah,
like that's the thing, isn't it?
I'd say this is pretty standard of what you want to take camping if you're hiking, even not even survivors. For 4 weeks, you're out in the wilderness. You probably would want all that.
Yeah, I guess so, actually.
I've also got a halter for trekking axe.
Bring your
got an axe,
bazooka,
camper van,
a knife,
limo,
more a knife, which
knife.
is good. Army trenching spade, which doubles up as a machete.
Bring the mash.
I'd take 4 litres of water with me for a few days.
Nice.
But I also have a water filter, which...
This is getting heavy.
Yes,
yeah, this is
a lot.
This is 40 kilos, this is what I'm saying. Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people will probably take 20 to 30 on their first few outings if they're going.
Okay.
Like, I remember when I took this out the first time, a dog jumped up at me and I fell over.
You ate
it? And I fell down to my knee and I was like, can't fall over, otherwise people are going to be like, what the fuck? You douchebag, or all that shit on your back. Anyway, I got up in the end.
Oh, good.
But yeah, get a water filter. That will give you 100,000 gallons of filtered water. I would go for a sort of water spring, if you can. Fresh water.
Now, are you preparing for all this because you think the future is going to go in a certain way?
Yeah, well, this is one thing. Obviously, in lockdown, I decided that I was bored because music wasn't hitting the spot for me anymore with regards to not being able to perform it. I didn't earn any money from it for eight months, so I was a bit pissed off with the whole industry and the government for putting those restrictions ahead of putting those restrictions into the nightlife industry. So and music industry. So yeah, I decided that I found I just sort of naturally gravitated towards a new hobby, which was wild camping and also survival. Sort of, I became really interested in it during the lockdown period. Nice. And obviously I had a lot of time, having 8 months off, to do a lot of research of certain things, which led me on a sort of reasoning behind getting myself prepared should it happen. I've got a box of food buried in a location as well, like some dry foods and things like that, which will last. So
give me the coordinates.
I will give you the coordinates should shit hit the fan.
I'm starving.
I would if the shit hit the fan.
No, now.
It's not that far from where I live, to be fair.
Shops.
And also, if it is going to get sort of survivally, then maybe have a weapon on you. Slingshot and air rifles are good for hunting and things like that, but also good for looking after yourself. That's obviously shit at the fan situation. A couple of Nokias, some SIM cards, all that shit. You know what I mean?
Let's take a quick break here to hear a word from our sponsor, and then we'll come back.
Well, how'd you do? It's me, the infamous Bobby Ray, at Bobby Ray's Ball Wash Chicken Toss, where y'alls can get your chickens tossed and your balls washed. And if y'all's got the deluxe chicken meal for two, we'll wash Junior's balls for free. So come on down to Bobby Ray's Ball Wash Chicken Toss. And remember, if it ain't Bobby Ray's, it ain't no good. Yeah!
And we're back. Hot.
Back once again with the Renegade Master.
Up in the trap, and Nrky wants to talk about some what is it? Food? Outdoor?
No, well, kind of.
You said the food.
Building in the wild.
No, you said food in the wild.
You and that, yeah. Food in the wild.
Building
in the wild, yeah.
What you mean, like those two blokes?
If you find yourself a little area that you're happy to settle, you might as well make sort of you get yourself a little bit more comfortable, don't you?
I've been looking for a cave.
Well, you can go in a cave, but I'll guarantee you every single cave on this aisle has been searched and looked at. Pretty much, anyway. You'll be hard.
Put up a
If
fence.
shit hits the fan, that's where people will go, and you're going to come across people at that point, which means confliction.
I'll put up some wood.
But anyway, I mean, you know, if even for fun and spare time, you can go out and build in the wild, can't you? Like,
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, the Forestry Commission
I've
might
always-
take it down. Or
I've always
whatever,
thought of like digging and building downwards in the wild, like rather than
Yeah.
above ground, just like digging a
doing
hole
the downward dig.
Digging that hole.
and then just covering it with some leaves and then uncovering it and digging some more.
Yeah.
Oh, as man, we were talking about last week. What you think of crooks? Indian YouTubers.
Oh yeah, no, they are They are
Bloody YouTubers.
They are crooks.
Anyway, please
I
go
would,
on.
I would go on brand YouTube these days. A lot more good stuff on there.
Yeah, it's too much censorship on YouTube.
YouTube's fucked, isn't it?
Yeah. I can't even comment on things without getting taken off now.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
In fact, even just putting swear words, I put SDE.
Although to be
Small dick
fair,
energy, and they
there was a good.
Deleted it.
How long's it been around YouTube?
Yeah, but they choose to delete it. doesn't it, the
15,
channel?
20 years.
No, that's just they have algorithms now.
20
to
years,
delete certain
15
things.
years, YouTube.
Yeah, 20 years.
It was good for a good like 13 years, I'd say.
Yeah, it's only been the last 2 years.
It was a good
year,
tool
I'd
for
say.
music and all sorts of stuff. So don't get me wrong, like YouTube has been great, but I think they're politically aligned now, which is not how a media outlet should be.
It's time to
really.
jump shit.
Yeah. Anyway, build in the wild. I mean, have you ever built in the wild?
I have. I've
Yeah.
done it for years.
Built out of the wild or built in the wild?
Well, like off-grid scenarios.
you mean-
Activities for children, but we used to build the
that's cool,
shelters.
Do you mean like knocking down trees and making stuff out of
Well,
the trees, or
you
just
don't-
taking
I
stuff
mean, it
to the
depends
wild?
where you are. I mean, if you're in like proper in the wild, like you're not really going to find that in the UK. You'd have to go like deep in Poland or something like that to find like real dense forest where no man is ever going to find you, sort of thing. But if you were in them situations, you know, or even if you've got a bit of land that you want to mess around on, or even if you want to go to land and potentially mess around with it, you know, you've still got the
I'd
opportunity.
dig a square, fill it
Dig-
with concrete.
Yeah, make yourself a concrete base in the wild.
Concrete square, yeah.
Do you
And
reckon
then
you'd have
dig
enough-
out all the mud in the
Do you reckon
middle.
you'd have enough water and enough and cement for that situation?
I'd have
or would you
friends
take the concrete
cement.
already made down there into the
No,
wild?
not
with
the
you?
not the fake. No.
Or would you need a few of these
I'd
to
bring
carry a
some
big slab
cement
of
from
concrete
home.
like that?
I'd
Probably,
buy
I
some-
imagine.
I'll get some cement delivered there.
Yeah,
Do you reckon you could get stuff like that just delivered to weird
I
places?
like cements. Yeah.
Probably. Ask Parker.
Like if, let's say you wanted to go to, you could just get some cement delivered to the.
Some cement.
Well, it's not the Golden Galleon. What's the?
Oh, couldn't it?
Yeah, Cookmere.
Yeah, I think you need an address and an account and all that. Like, I mean, obviously you'd have an account.
just give them the buildings next to its address.
Yeah,
like,
well, I'd say, but bring it
we
down
need
a bit
some
further.
cement. Yeah, they'll bring it to me. I'll be the guy in the high vis.
I think you might get away with it, but it's probably quite difficult.
All right then.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But there
building-
are other items.
How
you
would
can
you
use.
build
Did
in
you
the
know
wild?
for your own natural cement you can use charcoal, or no, not charcoal. Sorry, wood ash.
You'd need
so-
a lot of it, wouldn't you?
Well, you could probably make quite a lot of it with foraging all the old wood and that around. Just make sure you dig a hole so that you put the fire in it, so the ash doesn't go anywhere, and then collect it all together.
That's,
And you can add other items to that to.
I mean, they were building stone walls and castles in the 900s, weren't they?
Yeah.
Well, a bit earlier than that,
Yeah.
way earlier. So why did they do it? Stone, sand, mortar.
Kind
Was
of the
it?
pyramids of thousands of years ago.
How
weren't
they
they?
do it?
Bloody thousands. Of
How'd
years
they
ago.
do it? How'd they do it? How'd they do it?
Clay's good. I fashioned some bricks with some clay. When I went to Ashdown Forest, I followed a stream down with my friend George and dug into the side of the riverbank and got myself some clay and made some bricks, which I then made a stove with to cook with. I also dug into the side of the riverbank and made myself a chair using wood that was around. That was quite cool. I had a little spot to perch on.
Very nice.
George hung his hammock across two trees above the stream waterfall that we had next
Oh,
to us,
that
which
sounds-
was nice.
That sounds fucking
Picturesque.
Yeah, and
Very nice guy.
I took some tinned fish with me. It wasn't the most wonderful, and some rice and that, but it was nice in the situation.
Nice.
Yeah, we watched 50 deers cross our path at one point. It was, it's all about reconnecting with nature, really, in my opinion. Like that's why it sort of resonated with me quite a lot.
What's the best way to find food if you're out?
There's a number of ways. I mean, if you're stuck out in the UK between sort of November and like late November and like late February, you're going to be hard pushed to find anything to eat really, unless of course you can find anything that's not hibernating.
Still on mushrooms.
Yeah, you can live on mushrooms. There's a number of mushrooms. It's worth finding a book called what's it called? I think it's Food in the Wild or something like that, or Free Food, and it's got a massive section on mushrooms. There's a particular mushroom which I'm dying to find, which I'd love to have a little munch on, which is known as chicken of the woods.
Oh yeah.
And it's sort of shaped like a clam, loads of clams like sort of layered upon each other.
They grow out of tree. I think
usually on the tree itself, lower level. But apparently it's called chicken of the wood because it tastes like chicken. So
it sounds delightful.
So I'd be up for a bit of that. And there's also various other mushrooms which you can divulge in if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Then you can connect with nature even more so. So food-wise, you've got a number of different meats you can eat. You can eat pigeon, wood pigeon. I wouldn't eat the town shit because that's infested with all sorts of bacteriums, and you don't want any of that in your body.
No.
So wood pigeon's good. You can eat rabbit. Although rabbit hasn't got much fat on it at all, so you can't survive on rabbits. There is a disease which you can get, I believe, through eating too much rabbit, which is a deficiency in muscle growth and stuff like that, and you'll obviously starve because you're not starved. You'll get pneumonia or
you've got to check their eyes.
Hypothermia, sorry.
Check their eyes. Check their eyes. No,
check their eyes. They ain't got mixy, all that shit. Yeah. Squirrel. You can eat squirrel. You can eat rat if you want.
I imagine there's a lot of meat on the squirrel.
You'd be surprised. I think there's a little bit more on it than
a rabbit.
Than what you expect. Oh no, meat-wise, there's probably more than a rabbit, but there's still enough to get you through. I mean, in a real shit of the fan situation, you can go out and buy. You can't buy anything in this situation.
You go to co-op.
You can go. You get really stuck. You can just go down to Morrison's and get yourself some bacon in a pack, plastic, and just fuck it all off.
Go to
be
trader.
part of the system.
You'll be like, "Hello, traveller.
No,
what goods do you need?"
But no, you would obviously look at anything. Go for it. I'll show you a trick that if you do this with it.
Okay, he's rolling the satsuma in his hands and the palms. Okay, it's getting faster.
Just making sure I get all the points. You can hear it.
Is it going to burst?
No, it won't burst.
Okay, what's going on here? Is it you're going to peel it in one because you've rolled it so good?
Oh.
Okay. What did you do to make it? Is it just going to be all come apart easy now?
Yeah, like a Terry's chocolate orange.
Okay.
And then
I mean, it's not great for a podcast, but that was really impressive.
So he's just split it open and made it look like a little.
Thank you.
Like a little
desirable
little smorgasbord of tanger.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
So do it. I made a little flower of the orange.
Would you like to get on to the polarising questions, or do you have anything else to say?
Nah. I think you get the idea.
Oh yeah, nah.
I'm definitely not a black pillar, which means you hope for doom and gloom, but I want to be ready for it. I do believe in humanity, peace and spirituality and all that sort of stuff, and I do believe that there's a great awakening happening at the minute, and people are coming together to hopefully pull us out of this hole and get into some real future business with with each other and get rid of the dark forces on the planet.
Okay.
And I think that's going to come soon.
Ollie,
if it doesn't, then I'm prepared for it, and ain't going to be no one to stop me putting an axe through the undergrowth.
Yeah, it's a very optimistic way of looking at it. I might be my bit more of a pessimist or nihilist for our future, but I hope you are right. Yeah. True you do.
Yeah.
The uncensored version we'll do later, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. I know I'm neutral, really. I'm enlightened.
Jimmy neutral.
I'm an enlightened centrist, as it says.
Neville Bartos.
Let's see his questions. What you got for us
this
week?
Okay. Polarising questions. Right, okay. You've created a religion because whatever. Well, you've had to in your situation. and you got followers. Oh, but you need a name for the religion.
Right.
What would you call your religion?
You go first.
Big Dick Club.
But then not everyone will be able to get it. Okay,
about 23% of the population in there.
Let's say you want people to join,
Yeah.
and
There'd be riots because all the little dickers would be outside being like,
exactly. That's how religions start.
my girlfriend told me this.
That's a, well, I don't know, that's a weird one. What would you call yours?
Oh, and what would be the whole concept of the religion as well?
So
like Jesus, Christianity is Jesus, the
Well, I
Son
think-
of God.
yeah.
Our
Blah,
question
blah,
is
blah.
to make a whole religion.
What, just right here, right now?
No, like as in
I mean, I
like,
think
it's
religion
funny.
probably had thousands of years to get to where it is.
I
As in, just
would
make,
like-
you could say a unicorn came down.
Naturist religion, where we
Yeah.
go back to not having clothes. No,
That means big
Going
muffs.
back-
That means
yeah.
big muffs, and I'm not
Going
really
back-
down for that.
Going back to the world.
I
as a-
realise it was, it's, you know.
Turning our back on technology,
Yeah.
living off the lands, it's kind of spiritualism, I guess. Living in a little commune. But I'll call it, I don't know, I'll make a cult. I'll call it Palmerism.
Naturism, nature
Palmerism,
palmerism.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I will be their
Narky?
god.
I'd call it narchism. Anarchism.
Nice.
Anarchism.
Nice. And what?
When everyone's
Everyone
worships
just,
you.
yeah.
What's your theology?
There'd be a lot of Garibaldis.
Low Garibaldis, yeah. That's number one.
There was an Italian military leader called Garibaldi.
Was it?
Who was supposed to be a real cool guy, and he made way for some good rules for humanitarian point of view.
Free biscuits.
Yeah, lots of free biscuits.
Did the biscuits ruin his reputation? Because they taste
yeah,
shit.
because he put them in purple packaging, and still to that day they've got purple packaging now.
What an idiot.
I hate him. Hate him.
I don't know if that's a true story or not. Just made that up, to be honest.
Alright.
It might be true.
I've got another zinger.
Alright.
Okay. You either have to eat a meal that's delicious, looks delicious, yum yum yum, meat is lovely, but the way it's like that is a dog, or you have to kill a dog. But you don't.
Killing today.
But as soon as the dog,
Yeah,
as soon as you
You're
kill
a cat
it,
person, right?
as soon as the dog dies, it disappears.
Pardon? So you can either have a gourmet meal that's prepared from dog, or we have to kill the dog ourselves.
And it disappears.
Well,
Easier way of saying it. Easier way of saying, would you eat a dog or kill a dog? But I thought I'd add some.
I would kill a dog to eat a dog if I had to.
No, not both.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you can either kill the dog or eat the dog?
Yeah,
Well,
but-
eat the dog. I'll have the gourmet
Okay.
meal, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Sleep
think I'd
easy.
rather
then.
eat
I mean,
Someone would have had
you
to
wouldn't
have
want
killed the
eat
dog,
just-
though. I'd
Yeah,
be like, how
exactly.
many dogs were harmed in the making of this meal?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, one.
The same dog that you kill, that amount.
Yeah,
What would you do?
that's it.
You'd kill a dog, wouldn't you? Sick
I'm
up.
pretty. Well, I don't know. Do you feel like if you there's certain lies in life, but if you ate something that was considered bad to eat, I don't know. Well, I had shark fin soup in Portugal when I was
Did you?
younger, but I was like 12 years old.
Was it nice?
But like, that's bad, isn't it? Apparently.
Well, yeah, in Asia.
The way I see it is
see
if you
it,
can
but-
catch a
Well, it's in
fish,
Portugal.
if you
Oh,
can
it's
catch
only
a
in
shark
Asia.
with your hands,
Well,
then you can eat it.
They just chuck. It's because they cut the fin off and just chuck the shark
Yeah,
back
they
in.
do,
and
don't
then
they? And it
just
just sits
drown.
to the bottom of the
No.
floor, doesn't it, of the
No.
seabed, and just goes.
They just can't.
I was doing a shake there for the microphone.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, like, would you? What food was that?
I mean,
if you ate a dog, would you tell anyone?
I respect. I would
Like, as in it was made for you. At a
If it was
restaurant.
someone I knew's dog, no, I wouldn't.
No,
I think, like, say if I went travelling, I think I respect everyone's cultures. If they gave me like dog, and it's like one of their local dishes, I think I'd eat it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be like, fuck
I'd be
you,
like-
because if we went to India and they were like, and
I
bought
don't
a
think
beef
they'd tell
burger, they'd be
you.
like, fuck
Fuck
you.
Yeah, they try and
Piece of
eat
shit.
us.
I don't think they'd tell you, to be honest.
Oh, well, I don't know. You go someplace,
Most
they all
places
like
they
hang
tell
up.
you what meat you want to
Well, they have a
order, don't
picture of dogs.
Yeah, like
I don't
skinned
think
dogs
there's
hanging up in
anywhere
their
where you
butchers.
go and
Oh,
say,
yeah.
I'll just have that meat burger, please.
They'll be like dog burger.
Well, there probably is, but most places.
With a
you
side
have
of
menu,
horse.
don't
Yeah,
they?
because in Vietnam, I think they eat quite a lot of dogs. My
Conspiracy
mate.
theories.
Oh yeah, they eat a lot of conspiracy theories. But no, they eat
Oh.
dogs on the reg.
Actually, no. It's back to conspiracy. Did you hear about the Korean or Japanese one where they're scared to leave a fan on at night because of something they call fan death, where people who leave a fan on at night they
Die.
like mysteriously die in the middle of the night.
No way. I always leave my fan on during summer.
Yeah, but apparently they have like all fans in what country is it? It might be Japan, but they're all Korea. It's definitely Korea, but they're all on timers, so they turn off after a certain time at night, and people make sure that they don't leave.
I've never heard of that.
Well, isn't that?
They claim that it sucks all the air out of the room and they suffocate in their sleep. Well, I guess because to us it's a conspiracy, but to them it's probably very much.
Is it like a superstition? Like how we don't like walking on the ladders?
Every superstition.
I'd say walking on ladders just seems dangerous. It's like if you ever see a ladder up. Now, if I see one, maybe as a kid I walked underneath them, but now if there's someone on it, I'm going to go, I'll walk underneath that. Or even there's no one on it, it's like, what's the
supposed to be on
I just quickly jump and stand on the bottom step and go, got you, mate.
Shake it. And then think, oh, yeah.
Whoa! Did you see that video of that old man? He has one of those mobility scooters. And he was a ladder in a way, someone on top of it. He just like fucking knocked it out of his way, and this guy just like fucking came crashing down from like 4 stories up.
Whoa! I wouldn't be able to 4 stories on the ladder, bloody hell. That's fucking tricky.
That's free. I don't know. I couldn't see how much, but he looked like he fell from a fucking distance because the ladder went, and then suddenly it was like 2 seconds before the guy was like.
It's like 100 foot.
Alright, I've got my final polarizer. I can't remember if I've told it. I don't think I have. Do animals owe humans? As we can cure them of diseases they would otherwise have just died from.
Say that again.
So animals get diseases, that's it. They get diseases, they get cancer, whatever.
We kill them.
No, well, and we can cure them, like in some of the time, like give them little wheelchairs or whatever.
That's what vets are for, I think.
But vets are people, aren't they? So people help animals.
You study for longer
but not
as a veterinarian nurse than you do as a doctor.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying it's true, but like it's not like.
Should we
do animals owe humans in a way?
Does this come down to eating dogs again?
No. I'm not saying owe us because obviously people eat animals, but is it almost because it's not all the same animals, but the same way it's like if someone saw an injured sheep that wasn't going to be slaughtered, like they would help it, even though inevitably might be sent to a slaughterhouse at the end of the day.
Yeah, it depends which.
And they do have to.
I guess.
They do have. They can't just. They're not just. Some people are just getting a chicken and smacking against the wall.
I wouldn't kill an injured animal. I don't think. I'd kill it to put it out its misery, but I don't know. Actually, yeah, I'm just conflicting my opinion right there on live TV.
Yeah, you've just been cancelled.
No, I kill an animal if it's in danger.
Well, that wasn't my question. What was my question?
I don't know.
No, okay. Do animals owe humans, or is it way more that humans owe animals? Like, as in we're way more.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we've killed a lot of them.
I mean, we've bred a lot of animals.
So the thing is, animals would
our food,
eat.
Don't we? Like really,
animals would eat people if they're bigger than us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's
the only thing stopping them. Whereas we're choosing not to.
But chickens are tiny, and we're like, I'm very defensive, and we're like, ah.
Yeah, but chickens are dinosaurs. Chickens are dinosaurs.
We're at the top of the food chain. We are animals. We're not like secondary
But
we are part of the food chain.
But I'm just saying, like,
if we want a bit of food, we can have it.
If a certain type of animal
sit on the food chain.
If a certain type of animal got their shit together, we'd be fucking wrecked.
What are you saying? Chickens got together.
Big chickens. Big ones. We've not seen chickens have rucks. Chicken and mental.
Yeah.
They're like
these big ones that look like Elvis.
That's
a very good impression of a turkey.
I saw a hawk try and attack a baby little chick, and then the mum chicken came out and wrecked it.
Did you see that hawk? But like got that dog, little chihuahua, like flew off of it.
Yeah,
in a park.
Pretty brutal.
I think I've seen a pigeon eat a rabbit as well. Not a pigeon, a seagull eat a rabbit.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh
with a
yeah,
rat.
Oh, it was a rat, was it? Yeah, it was a rat.
No, I thought it was a baby rabbit.
I swear it was a rat.
I've seen the baby rabbit and this rat.
Oh, the seagulls get down these days.
It's what's that huge necked fucking motherfucker?
Oh, what, pelican?
Yeah, he eats this pigeon. He's just like.
Yeah. You get no, is it pelicans? Yeah, I think you do get them around here.
Pelican.
No, what are the other things that
Heron.
like that? Heron, yeah, herons, yeah, you get them. I've seen one of them around near my mum's. It flew down like this, big old fucking.
Yeah, they're fucking
and
beautiful.
and it went into this woman's pond and started munching on her fish in there, and it got out of there.
Herons,
wow,
when they fly, they look like pterodactyls.
Yeah, it's
crazy. Yeah,
All right.
two in Norfolk.
I'll throw one back out. Any polarising questions before we wrap this up from you? Either one? Got anything good? Anything you want to ask? You think like how would the be without
A.
Yeah, I like that one. How would it?
I think I'd probably it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Would you?
No. Oh yeah.
What incentive would the government have to do?
Oh, come on.
Oh, all right.
Go on.
How many incentives?
What would you need to see to trust the government over the vaccine program rollout?
The replacement of all government officials
Okay.
with actual public servants, but probably in a proper people from the public
What about you?
that have been voted in by proper democratic situation.
What if you were voted in, and then some guy was like, "I don't trust Nrky. He's part of the naughty
Yeah,
association."
I'm actually part of the New World Order.
Oh fuck!
I'm a shill.
Wait, you're double shill.
I'm a triple shill.
You're shilling for them and against
So
I use shillings for
currency.
payment. Yeah, so that's how far back I go.
Wow. Are you one of the immortals?
One of them.
As in, like, you lived since 1902.
No, I think I lived before that.
Bit older than that. Actually.
1867, I think it was, when I was born. Like, mentally.
Yeah.
Physically, it looks like I was born yesterday.
Wait, what was the question again?
I don't know. What would the government have to do to make you trust the vaccination rollout?
Oh, the vaccination.
I already had double vaccination, so. Oh yeah, I should have made that obvious from the
Probably you
beginning.
should check this video out I got.
Nah, I don't know.
You'll get through it. You probably had a saline solution.
I'm built different anyway.
Yeah. We'll
Ripped.
see. How's that red patch on your leg got? Is it still there?
Red patch. There's a bite from a
Oh
bug.
yeah,
It's nuts.
Oh
They said
shit!
it was-
There's my
bite.
huge balls.
Yeah. He said it's bite. I think it's the nanobots getting to work. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got
Making
nanobites
Greg
all over me.
magnetic. Have you got a magnet here? Let's do the test and see if it sticks to your arm.
I'm just greasy. Anything will
Just
stick
greasy.
To me. Anything will stick to me right now.
Yeah. What about Corey?
No. Corey in the
What do
house.
stick to you?
What Corey in the house?
Jack and Ori.
God, have you not got any polarizers? Because otherwise I'm wrapping it up.
I did think of one question. I've lost it though.
Oh,
I've got a question for you.
okay. Keep it snappy.
How much carbon dioxide
Mm-hmm.
do you think Mount Etna expelled when it erupted last time? Because it's a volcano, obviously.
No. Reckon that.
30,000 fumes is. I
I
don't
don't even know how you
measurements.
measure that. How do you
You
even
can
measure
measure
gas?
in tons or something. I guess.
20 megatons, 1,000,
Is it
20
more
million
than
megatons,
we
1,000
excrete?
Right, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Mount Etna kicks out 10,000 times more CO2 in one eruption than what the human race has in whole of our existence.
Yeah, you bloody go.
Oh, we're trying to one up us, is it? That
There
fucking
you
volcano.
Bloody
Let's
go.
go speed it up.
Also, I've got another one.
Right.
Greenland gained 5,500 gigatons of ice in one day within the last 48 hours.
Okay. So you don't buy into global warming?
I believe in climate change by natural occurrences. If you look at the figures like those sorts of stats, then you kind of question the narrative a little bit, don't you? I mean, obviously we're making an absolute state of the planet with what I was saying at the beginning, with all of with our consumerism and the capitalism and all of that. But in terms of the height of the water coming up, it's not come up at all in most places. You'll find that it's contained, stayed the same. In fact, it's gone down a little bit in some places. A lot of lakes have evaporated, but this is down to the pole shift, which you can look at, I suppose. There's the north and the south pole are shifting apparently.
Yeah, every 1,000 years, a few thousand
Yeah,
years.
so it just basically means that the ice caps will change. Certain countries will go under, certain will rise. You know, it's just part of the part of the history of this planet and nature. Anyway, yeah,
That's a nice way to end the show.
there's plenty more to be discussed on the matters.
Next time.
Let's hear something positive before you go. One positive thing. Always about you, isn't it?
No, I was going to say, I don't think I can think of anything.
Okay, well, let's wrap this up. We've been here with. We've been here. Oh, okay.
It's all positive, isn't it?
Yeah. We've been here with Ollie, me, Greg, and Nrky. Bye. Thank you.
Good night.